Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant aka Admin Doug continues to protect our
Hello,
freedoms.
my friends. It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video. And as you can see, I am currently in my official Antifa uniform issued to me by the founders of Antifa. My friends, we have got a situation going on in this country as the government is now waging war against inflatable costumes all over the country, and we are going to talk about it in just a minute.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And you may have seen that this is a special one. We have somebody back yet again. Not only has he been on Sons of Liberty, not only has he been here more than once, I believe, and I was on his channel, but you're looking at Josh from The Enemy Within, who has now reached the 100,000 view mark, subscriber mark. There you go, 100,000 subscriber mark. I'm not jealous. Come on. I'm not jealous at all. I mean, it's not like when he came to me, he had less subscribers than me, and then a few months later, now he has 100,000, and I got like 10,000 more. I'm not saying that, anything's wrong with that. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm just joking. I could not be happier. Josh, from The Enemy Within, man, how are you, my friend?
Good, man. It's good to see you. I'm doing well. Apparently, I don't know. It seems to be working out. But yeah, it's good to see you, man. On that note about you had more subscribers than me, I did that 100,000 subscriber video where I thanked people that helped me along the way, and I meant to put you guys in it. Sons of Liberty, Political Drain, and bro, I completely forgot. You guys were the first people that reached out when I was very small, 10,000 subs maybe, and said, "Hey, let's bring you on and talk to you." So thank you guys for the support you showed me when I was much smaller than both your channels.
Man, well, that's appreciated. I wasn't even looking for it. I was just so happy. I was watching the creep up. It was like a few months ago. It was like, oh, we might get there really soon. And then it kind of just plateaued. And I was like, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? So I was one of your fans, like literally just watching, like counting the days, like, is it going to happen today? So I was completely invested in it despite me or anything else. I just am so happy to see it, man. I got you on for a specific reason, of course. Like we're in a time that the bad things are so numerous, but the indicators we don't know as much because we're worried about people getting pulled off the street. We're worried about people getting shot by ICE in the face. We're worried about going to war with Venezuela, and we can talk about all of that. But that is something that I think is being missed, are these indicators, these things that only people in the industry know. But I wanted to first start out with what got you to 100,000? What are people tuning in for?
That's a tough thing to figure out. I'll try to answer that. Of course, obviously the support I've had along the way. You guys, I got a guy I work with pretty often. I don't know if you've seen him, Canadian content creator called Guard the Leaf. We do a lot of work together, so I got to give him a shout out.
Yeah, your Canadian fans have been going in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I caught on to that, when Donald Trump started his 51st state bullshit, and I just made a video talking about it and why that's the wrong thing to say. And I was actually surprised by the support from Canadian viewers for sure.
Yeah.
When they all started showing up, and they're always happy to tell me what I don't understand about Canada, and I don't mean that sarcastically by any means. I have learned a lot about Canada, so obviously it's the people that have helped me out along the way, the relationships I formed doing this. But I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of shock value to it when you see a guy standing in a semi truck looking like he's straight out of the trailer park, because I am, and saying what I say about Donald Trump's policies. That I think that probably resonates with people. Maybe the unscripted, I screwed up, oh well, we're rolling with it type of thing that we do over there, you know.
I'm starting that today. That's my new mantra. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
It gets me in a lot of trouble because sometimes I say shit I didn't mean to say.
Yeah.
And then like I got to come back the next video and be like, hey, I researched that after my commenters jumped all over me, you know, and said, bro, you got this completely wrong. But then there's other occasions where I go, nope, I'm not backing down. I said what I said and I'm sticking to it. There's been a few occasions of that. So I don't know, man. I am just shocked that I got that far. I was in my truck the night it happened. You know, there were a lot of people, thousands of people watching my subscriber count. And the day that it like finally ticked over, I was in my truck by myself. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wept, tears, snot, everything. I was like, shit, I did it. Wow. That's it, just insane. Just crazy to see that kind of number.
I definitely would have myself. Sons of Liberty hit 100,000 not too long ago as well. So I'm trying to get my way up there, man. But just congratulations on that. So all right, we can get back into that. Let's get to the expertise. What the hell is going on, man? There's new tariffs every day. Canada comes out with a commercial, and all of a sudden, once again, it's another tirade, an orange tirade by the orangutan. Oh no, now we're doing more tariffs. Everything's up and down. It's so hard to know what's going on with the economy. One of the best ways to figure this out is the supply chain. I want to know your assessment. You can talk as long as you want. I've seen a whole lot of specific things that you've been talking about on your channel. For the people who don't watch, for the people who are just tuning in here, give me the rundown. What are you seeing? What are the indicators, good or bad, causes and effects as you see it?
Yeah, sure. Let me give a little bit of background. I am a truck driver. I have been for about 12 years. Done the owner operator, lease operator, company driver, negotiate with brokers, though everything you can possibly do. So I got a little bit of experience in this field. And I was sort of ringing the alarm bells months ago because my years of doing it, you start to see, you know, there's patterns to how this all works. And you start to see things are out of line. They're not how they used to be. And for me, it was seeing truck stops that were full when they should be empty. There's certain times a day, like one of the things I talked about was it was 10 a.m. on a Monday morning, and you couldn't find a parking spot in this truck stop I was in. Truckers were having breakfast. They were talking about how they haven't got a load sent to them yet. 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, that truck stop should be empty, you know. But then I'm seeing stuff like, it's a, you know, evening, anytime in the evening, the truck stop should be full. And you're starting to see, well, now these truck stops are starting to be empty. I don't know if you saw one of the videos I
saw
recorded.
that exact one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a supply chain issue. That's all it comes down to. That truck stop that I showed on video is a very popular truck stop. It's a very popular route between Colorado and Texas, and that place was a ghost town at 9 o'clock at night. Well, a year ago, you'd go to that same truck stop, and you'd be lucky to find a parking spot. Period. That time of night, no matter what day of the week that it is. And if you're not seeing that, you kind of have to assume that there's just not as much freight moving between those points. And I've got to the point now, if I'm ever going to Texas, I don't even worry about what time of day I'm parking the truck anymore. At 9-10 o'clock at night, I'm sure to find a parking spot. It wasn't that long ago that if you weren't parked by, depending on the area you're in, 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m., you weren't going to park that truck.
Wow.
And now it's a free for all out there. You don't worry anymore about if you can park, because there's how do I explain this? There's a lot of truck drivers leaving the trucking industry for a few reasons. Some of the reasons is Donald Trump trying to cover up the destruction he's doing to the supply chain. So they're going after the non-English speakers, the English language proficiency. They're literally pulling over truck drivers to test at weigh stations if they can speak English.
Are they still doing that? I thought that was like some
still doing it.
One of his stupid things that he announced, but then never followed through with, just to appease racists.
They definitely did it. They definitely did do it, and I would imagine it's still going on in red states for the most part. And another thing they did was they got rid of, or they're phasing out what they call non-domiciled CDL. And a non-domiciled CDL is a person that's in America legally from another country that has obtained their CDL. They're here legally. You have to be here legally to get a non-domiciled CDL, and they're phasing those out. And when they expire, they basically can't renew. And that's going to be 200,000 truck drivers lost from the supply chain because of that. And a lot of people tell me that's going to save us jobs. That's going to give us Americans jobs. But you're not seeing the indicators that trucking companies are looking for drivers right now. And that's where you go, no, that's not. They're not clearing up American jobs. They're hiding the fact that they're crashing the supply chain by getting a guy that doesn't speak English very well fired first. It's only a matter of time before it hits us, you know. But if it were true that America was losing 200,000 truck drivers, which is true, and we needed those truck drivers in a good economy, you would see like grants from the government for people to get their CDLs. You would see trucking companies with just extreme recruiting campaigns everywhere you look. Massive sign-on bonuses, and you're not seeing that either. So the trucking industry is not even looking to replace 200,000 drivers. That's a lot. I think I don't have the number right in front of me, but I think it's like 1.3 million truck drivers in America, and I may be a little off on that number, but 200,000 of them gone, and our economy doesn't miss them. Wow. That the alarm bell should be ringing at that point. Yeah, because I mean, I've been trucking long enough to know that if we have a good running economy, then the recruiting for truck driving is just everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's just we need truck drivers, and it's not there because our economy does not need those 200,000 drivers. And it probably doesn't need the amount of English-speaking American-born truck drivers that we have right now.
Yeah, a loss of 200,000 in any industry should shake a market up. And if it's not, that's a problem.
Well, and what you're not seeing is if we were losing all these truck drivers and we had so much freight, you would see this like extreme spike in freight rates for the American truck drivers to move it, and the freight rates aren't moving up. That's alarming for two reasons. It's suggesting that we're not seeing the increased demand for the truck drivers we have, and also we're headed towards the Christmas season as far as truck driving goes. We're not seeing a spike in rates, period. And we should this time of year, even with those 200,000 additional drivers. Yeah.
Now is when you would get, I mean, for people who don't know the rates, like you get paid like per mile or something like that, right? For everything, for when you're moving. And every freight offers a different amount. Like, okay, well, we're going to give, you know, this much dollars per mile or this $1 per mile. And around this time, Christmas time, all of those rates go up. If it was 1, it's 3. Like, hey, we're offering 3 per mile. So those aren't changing. Those per miles, right, or kilometers, whatever it aren't changing.
Yeah, we're not seeing a spike worth talking about. There's nothing. It's pretty flat. So, in layman terms, what does that say to you about the end result? What does that mean for the consumer? What happens when you're not seeing that? Where are we headed? Well, that's a tough question, because if we saw the freight rates spiking because of a lack of drivers, then you guys would be paying more now immediately. Since we're not seeing that, freight, like shipping, is not costing anymore. I don't see a change in prices just off the top of my head for something like that. It's more we don't have that demand for freight to move in this country now. The prices are more going to come from these tariffs, you were talking about. So.
And I guess what that means is if there's not demand for it, I mean, people aren't buying it, that means there's a lot less people that can already afford it. So what that says to me is there's a lot of people who are without either jobs or without enough money to sustain the buying power that we used to have, right? That's what it would say. Thanks, MAGA. Appreciate that. Doge came, got rid of a bunch of government jobs. Now during the shutdown, let's go. Brainworm guy comes around and he starts firing everybody who has to do with keeping people healthy. Now after the shutdown, they go into the department that deals with children with special needs and fired all of them, right? Because we know that that's waste, fraud, and abuse. Argentina gets 40 billion, but the people who deal with the kids with special needs to help them grow and become successful, that's waste, fraud, and abuse. So they're all fired. All of these government jobs that are gone have no money. Like, I don't think that we're really thinking about that. In every state, there's a certain amount of government jobs that keep an economy going because they get paid. How much does that have to do with it in your mind? What if you know some of these numbers, because you've been staying on the news just like I have? How much of that loss comes from these government jobs, or how much do you think is just because nobody's getting paid or everybody's just holding on to their money and not buying anything anymore?
Well, I mean, it's all interconnected, right? We get rid of all these government employees. They are unable to buy as much as they used to, so we're gonna feel it from that. Everything works together, especially when it comes to moving freight around the country. When the price of food continues to climb, well, people are just going to buy less, and that's just the way the whole thing works. So yeah, you start getting rid of people, but that Argentina shit, I have been hammering away on that just almost as much as humanly possible. 40 billion to Argentina. Argentina takes down their trade barriers with China, selling potentially billions of dollars in soybean to China, while American soybean farmers cannot sell a single soybean to China. And then did you hear about now he wants to start importing Argentina beef to America?
Yep.
I mean, I understand that when you trade with other countries, that brings the prices down. That's why we've all been bitching about the tariffs anyways, right? I understand that part, but what is going on with all these sweetheart deals for Argentina? There's definitely got to be some corruption going on.
Yeah.
Here,
Okay, let's get to it. So they need to have a friendly person in this corner of the world, a dictator like Putin, right? Like Netanyahu. They need to have these people in order to back us when we do things like go to war with Venezuela, right? If we don't have a friend in Cuba, if we don't have a friend in Mexico, if we don't have a friend anywhere south of the border, we can't really control. Oh, I'm getting attacked by fruit flies. Oh, shit. Sorry.
That's like one of my videos right there.
Yes, I'm keeping it in. So we know that he's trying to bolster up another dictatorship that deals with this, ridiculous tariff style economics. That's the only thing I can think of. But the corruption, the amount of it is staggering. It's staggering. Like, what is going on at the point where you're willing to go face plant on national TV and say, yeah, we know, America first, out the window. We want more beef from Venezuela. We're going to give them $40 billion during a shutdown. And he's crying, tears of empathy. They're hurting over there. They're hurting. You don't understand. I have no idea. I wish I had the master plan or some inside, trading.
Here's what I keep hearing from my comment section, and I have not followed up on it and researched it, but apparently Argentina was a safe haven for the Nazis after all that came crashing down. So maybe a little something like that. We need a little safe haven over here. We'll go ahead and buy the government of Argentina.
I'll take that. I would take that any day. Heck yeah. I mean, Argentina. Well, I'll tell you one thing is, if they were going to do that, why the hell would they screw you and do the soybean deal with China? Right? So it's like I am lost. I think the level of stupidity has gone to such a point that trying to figure out what's going on is a fool's errand. It is just clown shit. And I don't know if what he owes them or what they owe. Well, I think whatever we do find out is going to be sick and destructive. On Venezuela, though, what I'm hearing and what I've heard from a few people, this is just content creators or people who I listen to who I know most people may not. I'm hearing that they're trying for regime change and they want the person who's going to back Israel, right? There's a lady there, who wants to become the prime minister. I believe that she just got the Nobel Peace Prize because she...
something like that.
Yeah. And now we're going to probably start a war over there to ensure, because they've already offered us the minerals, they've offered us the oil, and we're like, no, we don't want it. We just want to bomb fishermen and find excuses to go to war over there. I think this Argentina thing is a part of the same idea. I need as many dictatorial allies in the South of America if I'm going to be able to keep bolstering up my war on Americans, if I'm going to continue to be this effed up, right? What do you think about that plan? I think that's all of that is a part of the same idea. I need dictators in charge in South America that are going to help me build my new, golden statue in Israel and F over anybody else I don't like. And that's my assessment so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably has merit, of course. Obviously, we have to look at what's happening because, yes, Donald Trump is involved in a war with Americans. How you think I got my channel name? Yeah, but like I heard the estimates, the government shut down because Donald Trump and the Republicans won't let us have somewhat affordable health care. And I heard the estimates to extend the Obamacare tax credits are somewhere in the range of $38 billion.
Yeah.
The American government says we do not have the $38 billion to help Americans with health care, but we have $40 billion to give to Argentina.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Is there's obviously some corruption. There's obviously future plans being made. And I guess I'm just along for the ride with that one. See what happens.
I think the bigger issue is we know that there's a corruption. We know that there's a clown show. We know that these motherfuckers are out there to destroy us. Who is still backing him? What do you do? At what point do you say, I got a letter, I could show it? My wife is worried if we show the people how much we make. So I'm like, okay. But literally, it went from a double-digit number to a quadruple-digit number. We got the letter. It says we're going to, at the end of the year, if the tax credits don't come back, it's going to be $1,620-something. And before it was less than 50. And, my son goes, well, then how are we going to do this? Because we talked politics with him. And I said, no, we can't do that. It just means we won't have it. And everybody's getting these letters. We're not the only ones. Who's still supporting this? I'm baffled.
Yeah. I had a theory about it on my channel where I talked about, let's see, the farmers are going bankrupt. The ranchers are now worried about going bankrupt. We're seeing job losses month after month. We're seeing increased cost to your health insurance premiums. There is only one thing Donald Trump offers to his base at this point, and that is open racism.
Period. There it is. I was going to say that, but I'm glad you did instead. And whoever this is that keeps on texting me, I swear to God. Yes, that's it. That's it. The only thing that you've gotten so far is brown people getting arrested and abused and thrown into prison. or in foreign countries. That's all you voted for if you're saying that you got it. And basically it was like, yeah, I'm getting exactly what I voted for. And when you try to go down the list of things, it's just, Biden had open borders. So he's closed the border. He stopped fentanyl. Has he? I'm not sure about that. What do you mean? Like, only thing that you've seen being done is black people and brown people getting hurt. And he's like, yes, I got everything I voted for.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. And on that note, the people that scream Biden had open borders just drive me nuts, because that's just simply not true. It's not true at all that the borders were wide open. I mean, I don't know what we're talking about, but to me, it's an interesting time. Scary, sure, but interesting. We get to see how far people will go down, how much of their own livelihood they'll give up just so they can be openly racist. Like that's it. That's the only thing left. There's not a single thing that he offers to the American people at this point.
Oh my God. I don't know when it'll stop is the hard part. Like you say, how much are you willing to give up? So I said the same thing before, that the Epstein thing, what people are like, they're going to change. Like, they're seeing something. And I said, you know what? We got to push it, because it gives us more time to plan. And as long as we can keep them on that, but it's only going to be a matter of time, because they're going to end up saying that it's a part of a master plan, because the idea is he's from God. God can't be wrong. And everything he does is good, and anybody against him is evil. It doesn't, everything else that you say that goes around that doesn't matter. If whatever he does, bad or good, is good. Everything he does is ordained by God. And when you have that belief, like when he said he could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and murder somebody, and he would still have the same amount of people, he was 100% right. It was 100% right.
We'll see. I mean, we've got so many things that I find interesting, but like I've already mentioned, the farmers going bankrupt, the ranchers worried about it. I did a video covering a rural hospital closing just a couple days ago. We're starting to see that happen more and more. The SNAP benefits will be ending here on the 1st if they don't reopen the government, which, I mean, the facts are the facts. That's the red states tend to lean on those more heavily. So I guess we'll see when they're out of a job, when they're bankrupt and they're going hungry. Do they still feel like everything he's doing is right? And that just, I guess, remains to be seen, because we do see the farmers every once in a while saying, you know what, I didn't vote for this. I'm going broke. I'm against what Donald Trump's doing. And you do get to see the farmer every once in a while when a Republican pokes their head out of the ground and does a town hall that's pissed, So I guess we're going to find out soon how far they're willing to go with it.
Here's an idea. I'd like to get your response on this. So, number one, those same farmers, if you ask them, do you regret your vote? The first thing they say is, not hell yeah. Oh my God, I would never. What did I do? It's never that. Even in the midst of a decay of their lifestyle and a decrease in their humanity and everything that they own and love, you say, so, now how do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump? Well, that lets me know right there. Yeah, you're going to complain, but if tomorrow you had to vote Republican or Democrat, you hate the other things so much, you've been so indoctrinated that there's not enough of you that would change in the midst of rotting cabbages at your feet that could put the check mark next to a D without having a heart attack, because you've been so your pulpit told you that you go to hell. Your parents told you that they'll disown you. Your community tells you that, there's no possible way. You just can't. And you've got Stockholm syndrome at this point. But there's another side of this. Here's what I want your response to. in France, in Italy, in Germany, in the UK, something happens in Palestine, boom, it's 100,000 in the street, 200,000, boom, it's 1 million, boom, they're there. No, it is not, there's not an organizer, there is no indivisible or 50-51. The news comes out, motherfuckers is outside the door looking around like, you going? You going? I got the ride. And they're there. Somebody changes a stop sign shape. And they're in the street. Somebody changed the font. This is actually something. Somebody decide they wanted to change the font on the road signs. Motherfuckers were throwing bottles and Molotov cocktails on the highway. Like, don't change my shit. If you even say I'm going to raise, we've got to raise the retirement age by 2 years, expect mayhem in the streets, right? There's a reason why. All of these places have had dictatorships, either on their doorstep or in their country. All of these places have had mass deportations of the bourgeoisie, and you're talking about Mussolini, or of the Jews in Germany. All of these places have had bombs flown over their border and dropped onto their places, have been hungry. We have hungry people. They have hungry countries. In this country, we've never known what it means to wish and plan and hope that the UN would come and save us. That's why we still can't imagine what it would be like, how much we need to fight, what we're going to need to do. We're not there yet because we are a product of our own richness. We've always been the person people's calls to come save them. Then we stay there and we occupy them, of course. But whatever it is, we don't have that yet. When we get there, and that's not for a longer time, is when I think that change will come. Democrat, Republican, whatever it is. And it's more than just being hungry, I think. It's going to take that level of dehumanization and watching everything burn until before we go, holy fuck, I've got nothing left. And that's the most unfortunate part for me. I hope isn't true. But I think that's why we see what we see over there and we don't see that over here. Agree, disagree, thoughts?
Yeah, I 100% agree. We grew up in this illusion that we live in a free country. We have checks and balances that will never allow a dictator to take over the country. And I think a lot of people, for the most part, are just kind of oblivious to it. They're not really paying attention. A lot of people aren't making the connection that Trump policy is what's causing them harm right now. Mm-hmm. And when they make that connection, maybe they'll start to see it. But yes, I think you're absolutely right. Americans weren't prepared for this at all. There's, I have a lot of Canadian viewers that say, why are you guys not taking to the streets and removing him yourself? It's like, right now, we sound like the crazy people. We sound like, the tinfoil hat lunatics out here ringing the alarm bells. And to anybody that's not paying attention, it just sounds like hyperbolic, like we're just making the whole thing up. Mm-hmm. And I don't know when the breaking point happens, but Americans just straight up aren't paying attention is mostly what I think is going on. They're not putting those together and understanding.
We had 7 million people show up last weekend, and that is a good sign. It's a good thing. I'm wondering when we can get 2 million in one place, like the White House or Washington somewhere. What are you seeing as far? So I don't know how long it will take, but there's another side of that, and you are a lot closer to it than I am. That connection between Trump and what's happening. The reason why they're not seeing it is because it's a constant undermining when they turn on the TV, right? Or the radio or whatever. What is that landscape looking like? Has it gone down? Is anybody's mind on the road, truckers are you've been telling me forever that there's just a high amount of this red wave there. We used to talk about you see less signs in Missouri, right? But how does that seem? What's the feel you get from? Is Fox News still working? Is Newsmax still working? Are they still when that connection will be made? Is it closer or further away? Are their propaganda stations still working as well as it was 6 months ago?
Well, I'd ask the other truckers how they feel about it, but every time I go to the truck stop, the goddamn lot's empty, so I can't find anyone to talk to. I'd ask them how they were feeling if there were any around. Yeah.
Oh,
um,
that's
from
so
from
unfortunate.
but from my observations, yes, I around the country, I've seen a massive reduction in the Trump signs, the Trump flags, the Trump bumper stickers. Walking around the truck stop, those guys used to love their Trump merch. They'd be wearing Trump t-shirts all day, and you couldn't walk through a truck stop without somebody talking about Donald Trump and all the great things he's doing for America. I don't even remember the last time I heard somebody talk about Donald Trump in a truck stop. That could be because there's hardly any truckers out there, or because they're finally getting the message. I'm not really sure. Now, I do hear in my comments from other truck drivers that say things like that they, you know, how they lie to themselves,
Yeah.
right? And they lie to the rest of us, and they'll try to tell me that everything I'm saying is fake because they personally are doing better than they've ever done on the road with Donald Trump. And the numbers just don't support that. For one, we're limited to a 70-hour clock over a 8-day period. You just can't do more than that. So legally, you can't do better than you've ever done. But when you look at the freight rates, it's just not there. I don't know what they're talking about. And I think it's just lying to themselves, trying to convince themselves, because truckers have a habit of doing that. We isolate ourselves in a box for all of our life, and we want so desperately to
Touché.
convince ourselves. Yeah, we want so desperately to convince ourselves that we made the right choice. So every truck driver out there works for the best trucking company. Every truck driver out there makes the most money he's ever made in his life.
Oh,
And it's
gotcha.
all just us coping
Got
with
you.
what we've done with our lives, right? So I know that was long-winded. There's
No, no,
not
no.
enough truckers out there to gauge it. And as far as like Trump merch and proudly talking about Donald Trump in every truck stop, there's a noticeable reduction in that going on.
Is there a noticeable reduction on the TV screen? Is it still always on?
No, I mean, yeah, when you're talking about like Fox News in the truck
Fox
stops.
News in the truck stop. I saw Newsmax at Waffle King or Waffle House on the way to Tennessee one time, and I was like, they put Newsmax in the restaurant? Like, not even Fox? Like, we need to leave quickly. Like, we might get hung out here. But it's just the same. None of that has changed.
Yeah, no, I think that, you know, how Fox News likes to boast about their ratings. We're the biggest news network out there. They're literally playing to millions of empty truck stops right now. If they turned off their damn TVs, you'd see a noticeable drop in their ratings. But no, I mean, I believe that a lot of people the Fox News is still playing. I believe a lot of people with too much time on their hands driving the truck are still listening to right-wing propaganda. That hasn't really changed, I don't think. But I don't know if it will. I really, really don't know if it will.
We had a discussion the last time, and we'll wrap it up soon. I just want to thank you for coming here, but I want to go over a few of the predictions that we had the last time. I went on your channel. You were talking about martial law. This was when Trump was just, shaking his dick around. Well, holding it like this, trying to shake it around, and he, according to Stormy Daniels, and he was going to L.A. and was going to, bring the martial law there, or not martial law, but bring the troops in. And you had a question about, is there going to be martial law? And you brought me in as someone who's been in the military to ask about the nuances of it. In the predictions, I said something like, well, it's 50-50 that it would actually be a big martial law thing. Like, it may not be tomorrow, but they're showing the signs, and they wrote it in black and white. So at some point, it's going to be it will happen, unfortunately, in my assessment, unless we fight back to the point where every single time it even gets close, the dictator who needs the visual, right, won't be able to get it. And they'll always be at the precipice of it. But at some point, I think they'll end up doing it. That was my prediction. So far, it has come to, I would say, naught, right? Maybe. What's your assessment of that prediction? When you asked me that question, and I said it's 50-50 every time. It may not be tomorrow, but it's inevitably going to come. How much are you still believing in my words at that point? Now, seeing where we've gone since then.
I think overall, you probably got a better understanding of this than I do, but overall, I think the country, like the judges and, Gavin Newsom and J.D. Pritzker, people like that, have done a pretty effective job of holding that off. What stands out to me is when they brought all the generals in, to make a big spectacle out of that. I don't think they got the, what did you call it? Like the optics that they wanted on that. I think they were expecting the generals to be standing up, clapping, cheering it on. And when they sat there just stone faced, like doing their job, I think they lost a lot of ground in that one. And I could be misunderstanding that.
No, you're 100% right. Not only are you 100% right, but here comes the part that I say, why I said 50-50 every time. Now all the ones that won't do it are retiring, are leaving, or getting fired. So the slow walk to getting the people that will say, hell yeah, let's do this, right, is taking a lot longer because of the fight that we're putting up. But I still think that we're at the exact same place because there's just too many chances being had, and every single time that one of them gets fired or one of them leaves, that's a chance for the next person to come in who didn't leave and who didn't walk away, means that he's on their side, right? But I agree with you. They're doing a pretty good job. Here's another thing. Another prediction. A few of those predictions have already come true as far as ICE and who they're hiring. Now we just know it's J6 people. Like they're fat, they can't run, they can't pass drug tests, they can't pass open book Constitution tests. Period. I mean, MAGA, what do you think of that anyway?
Right. One of them couldn't pass a roadside sobriety test with his kids in the car.
Oh, God, you saw that. Oh, give some catharsis here, sir. Tell that to the people who haven't seen it, because I haven't covered it yet.
Well, I only briefly watched the clip, but yes, there was an ICE agent that was pulled over because he was drunk driving down the road. From what I gathered I only watched the clip once a few days ago, but his kids were in the car, and then he was demanding to talk to the police officer supervisor, and these guys think they're more than what they are. Right? He's going to go out there and push around local law enforcement. You're the jackass driving drunk. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm federal. He said, what are you? This guy says, I'm a lieutenant or something like that, right? He goes, I don't give a shit. I'm federal. I was like, oh, that's how he treats his wife at home. That's how he treats black people everywhere. That's how he treats the people he's arresting for being citizen or non, for being brown. I have been waiting for this moment to slap everybody around, and because I'm big, right, or whatever it is. If you guys haven't seen that video, you got to go see that video. It is a masterclass. And the police officer, he just did this thing like, bro, don't be a child. I'm about to arrest you now. Let's go. And your kids are going to go off to the court system because you are horrible. So this is what we have there. I'm going to push back on the courts before we leave. The court system said, no, you can't go into Portland, Oregon, There's nothing there. You're lying to me. And she goes over and over, and they keep stalling and stalling. And she finally said, okay, now everybody has to wear cameras, and you can't have the National Guard there, period. You haven't passed this test. Go to the appellate court. They said, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Then the general of the National Guard in Portland says, yeah, we go where we're told. Our job when we get there is to protect the people. All of a sudden, there's still no soldiers in Portland. The judge said you could go. You're this close to deploying them. Why are they not in Portland? Because now you know that when they get there, they're going to be told that they're there not to help ICE. They're there to help the people. So whatever that means, you're not going to get what you want from them. So instead, there's a memo passed around. I saw it about 3 days ago. I don't know if you saw it, where Hegseth is now going to just start a new department of the military for crowd control. So instead, now, okay, so you don't want National Guard to come. Fine. I need some more fat J6ers to put on clothes, and now we're just going to be, we're going to make this, there's a new department in every state that we want to get into that deals with just the crowd control part. And that's what I mean by inevitably. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe. I don't know how old the memo is. I don't know how long it takes. Inevitably. There's only so many more steps and stopping that we can do. If you have a last thing to say about how to fight back, because the only thing that's been holding them off is that one stop, that one judge, that one fight, that one protest, that one frog, unicorn, that one laugh in their face, that one Jimmy Kimmel. These are the things that keep on holding it back from something that they're dying and salivating to do. One general. How would you say fight back? Fight back now so we can keep this at bay for as long as possible.
Well, one thing that I've found that seems to be really effective for some reason is just mocking them. Just like not showing fear, laughing in their face, making jokes about it. Like, I don't have the answers for how we all together fight back, but I think a lot of what they prey on is like our fear. Like we're scared of you. Well, I'm not scared of you. I'm in my 40s. I'm a trucker. I had a good run. You don't scare me. And the constant mocking everything they're doing. That answer would obviously change if they actually came to like taking shots at American citizens. Then that's a completely different answer at that point. But on that note, I think kind of our saving grace sometimes is, yes, these people are evil, but they're also fucking idiots. Yes. So because they're so dumb, they are constantly making missteps all the time. The whole inflatable costume thing, I don't know if you saw me squeeze my old ass into a T-Rex on a video.
No, I didn't see that. No, I missed that one.
Yeah. When you have all these inflatable costumes out there standing like toe to toe with ICE.
Hold on, time out. We're not just gonna gloss over that shit. You did what? You got into a T-Rex.
All right. So and it was super horrible because I planned to do a whole video in an inflatable T-Rex costume. Oh, so yes. I went into the only Walmart that was on my route where I could park a truck. And I went in and all they had was kid sizes of these T-Rex costumes. Mm-hmm. And but it says one size fits most. And I'm not very tall. You see, so I said, you know what, this is going to work out just fine. Yeah. Well, it didn't. It did not. It did not. I stuffed myself into this T-Rex costume. I had my head poking out of this neck hole, and the T-Rex head on top of my head. And I was going to do the whole video like that, but 30 seconds in, I was gasping for air. I had to stop the damn video and take the costume off, and I ripped the damn crotch out of it. $50 for a 30-second intro. Oh, no. No, I mean, I don't have all the answers to this. Like I said, it dramatically changes the minute they start actually firing weapons at American citizens. That changes the answer. But for right now, mocking them, not showing fear, standing up to them with these protests is all we lose some of these battles, but overall, it seems very effective so far. We're almost a year into this presidency where he clearly wants to take over America. And the fact that we've held out this long, I feel like it's impressive, but
It is. It is impressive that we've held out this long, only because we just found out in January how bad we were. There are people who thought that this would not last, 4 weeks after Doge. Like, that's it. They're going to rebel. Me knowing what I know was like, we're in for a long 4 years. That's when I started the special operations teams, right? Like, I already knew we got to start building up. We got to start building chains of help and resistance. We got to start finding ways to go from the shadows to fight back and be prepared, because we got at least a year and 6 months before it gets bad, right? And so I would like to push this. It is working. And when you say if they start firing at people, that answer changes, I would say the answer stays the same. Because why it works is because they are hoping. Why they go down there at nighttime and start throwing cans of gas so it looks like smoke is everywhere, and then Fox News shows up and takes a picture, is because if it doesn't look like that, the minute you fire on someone, there are going to be the same 30% of the people who can't wait to put them in gas chambers, period. They don't care. They want to see the bloodshed. But there's the 70% of the rest of America that will say, I just saw someone die. The response that we got from George Floyd was that. We had Tamir Rice shot. You had Breonna Taylor shot. You had the poor young man in Florida shot, and his guy ended up being a superstar. The guy who shot him, George Santos or whatever. I don't remember his name. Who cares? The guys. There was just black shootings after black shootings. The video of the guy calling for his mom while dying is what turned the tide. It sucks to say this. I can only give you the truth. The moment that those shots come out, if you continue, this is why the civil rights marches won. This is how Gandhi won. This is how it has been won in many places. Once those things come out, the blood starts, and the blood does get shed. You only have 1 or 2 times to fire that weapon before you lose all of the people who are like this right now. They can no longer do that. And the minute that happens, though, that 7 million turns into 15 or 20, right? Or is just a constant blanket of human beings at Washington talking about, I saw you kill a dinosaur, a frog, right? I saw the blood, and we watched it, and the camera was on it. Like, I think that it stays the same. I think that the consequences are tough, but I do think that changes it. That mocking in the face of adversity and death and cruelty does work. I'd like you to say one thing on your channel, if you could push this. November 22nd, we're all going down the removal coalition, Sons of Liberty, Cliff Cash, the Jessica Denson, and way more Flair. These people who've been doing the good work are going down to Washington, D.C. to go inside the Capitol again. Direct action in the Capitol, in the doors, in the offices. And if we have 1 million people down there instead of a couple hundred like last time, I think that type of direct action will work. I would love for you to just let that be known. Help us push that. There's the Removal Coalition, November 22nd. And I know it's late. I'm not a fan of that date, to be honest with you, because That's a tough time to do it, but that's what it is. And so that's what we're doing. I would love to see as many people down there at that Capitol doing the good work and in their faces, not just in a park, because that's where we're going. We did it last time. They have to allow us in. We're not, there with gas masks and flagpoles hurting and trying to stop an election. We're there doing what we do. It's our home, and it's our house. It's the public's, and as long as you can pass through the gates, right? As long as you can pass through the metal detectors, you can get in there. Would you help us push that?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
My friend, this was awesome. It was so quick. That was already an hour. I feel like, I only had one thing to talk about, and we covered it extensively. Now, next time we'll talk about that dinosaur suit. That's hilarious. Thank you so much for coming, my friend. Congratulations on the 100,000. I know it's only going to go up from here. What else have you got going on, man? What would you like people to know?
Honestly, not much. Just trying to stay afloat with trucking as it is right now, and just continue trying to spread the message to people that look like rednecks just like me. That's that's sort of the game plan at this point.
So I know it might be a personal question. Can you handle being in trucking for much longer? Has it slowed down to a point where you're wondering, should you just move over to YouTube or?
Well, I'm lucky enough that I do have this YouTube thing going on, and honestly, my plan is to just outlast all the Trump supporting truckers. If I'm one of the last men standing, I'm gonna make pretty good money.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you so much for coming, man. I really appreciate it, and congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.